What's the motherfucking deal, Sauce Nation? I hope all of y'all are doing well this evening. I know a lot of y'all are watching the Astros game, and we rooting for the Astros. I had to put it on the side just to check y'all out, just to holler at y'all, to bring y'all the sauce. It's the duty. But I hope y'all are doing well. If you're not familiar with Sauce Sports is a Houston, Texas homer network, so that means we're talking all sports, but only Houston. And with that being said, I want to shout out. We have a member of the roundtable joining us this evening. And who we got with us tonight, man? You
got your boy Wise of Wise Citizen Sports.
Already. Man, because I set the little thing up. It ain't even come through. Here we go. Hold on. Look. Let me look. I didn't put in work. I got to make sure the little shit show up now. But I'm your host, Ed Honcho. And as we tweak this little majigger here, because I made a motherfucking thing so he can show his name, and goddamn it don't want to show up. But, it is good. All good what it is. Oh, that's the problem right there. All right. Oh, that's what happened. There we go. Wise. Wow. I had to drop it from the ceiling. All right, but, man, what's the motherfucking deal? So we're going to talk a little bit tonight, man. Not specifically about any particular team, but we're going to talk about ultimately what the sauce is about, and that is the city of Houston. In the national media, we're starting to get recognized as a sports town, but I kind of wanted to look at that and see if is that really true? Are we in a position to start identifying? Are we one of the better sports towns in the nation? But before we get into that, before we talk about, where we rank as a sports town and, where we fall in the line, we got to talk about something a little bit more important. First, let me get that bank open for y'all. My bad. And then second, we got to talk about you, Sauce Nation. So if you don't know what that means, hey, we got to get the Sauce Nation roll call in. Apparently, I must have moved everything. That's what I hate about this damn thing. Everything. There we go. Sauce Nation roll call in. I apologize. I had the shit all set up, but when you smooth certain things, the shit just get all discombobulated. But so that means, hey, shout out where you from. Shout out your side with pride if you are from the greater Houston area. If you're not from Houston, hey, we still gonna send you a little bit of love. All you gotta do is let us know where to send it, live and direct, and we will make sure we shoot you a little respect. So let's see who we have joining us this evening. I see T-Mac. Don't be so negative, man. T-Mac 34, Miss Voodoo C, one half of the greatest moderated couple in the world. Hector Rodriguez, shout out from Tomball. Rising Phoenix says no because the fans are idiots, man. We're going to talk about that a little bit, too, because there is some crazy stuff that goes on when we talk about some of these sports teams. Baylor Rios, what's the motherfucking deal? Lard Boy, I wonder who that could be. Titans Up, what's the motherfucking deal? Zach, what's the motherfucking deal? Victor, Voodoo Child, the other half of the greatest moderated couple in the world. The nigga who could. Name I'm not gonna say. Y'all be coming up with some shit. I'll see what y'all be coming up with these days. Real Swift, what's the motherfucking deal? 335, what's the motherfucking deal? Don't be suspect, goddammit. St. Louis in the house. The slum in the house, man. Let me see. And Leonard Avery, what's the motherfucking deal? Representing Lakewood. Already. So again, like I say, man, we're gonna talk about what's happening in the city. We're going to talk about what's going on around town. And, is Houston a sports town? To cut all the bullshit short, yes, Houston is a sports town. But the sports we love and the sports that we represent as a city, especially on the professional, I think on the professional level more so as opposed to the collegiate and amateur, I think that's a different situation. But I think our faith and our allegiance to some of these teams is a little skewed in my opinion. And that's kind of where I want to start off. So, we've been talking a lot this week about, how the Texans stadium was looking empty for the first time in a long, long time. I mean, even last year when we were having a shitbag season and Deshaun went out, you would still see the stadium relatively crowded. I mean, you would still see people showing up even when the season wasn't looking that good. But for some reason, even with a chance to go 500, again, I don't know if it was the Astros. I don't know if it was, people like, well, fuck that. Astros coming on. I want to make sure I get home in time for that, and I'm more concerned with that. I don't know if people are starting to realize, hey, this team isn't that good right now, and we need to stop wasting our money on them. I want to know if it's, the fans are starting to come to their senses because let's just be honest about it. The Texans are the worst professional team in this city. Love the Texans. This is not to say, fuck the Texans or nothing like that, but let's be serious. The Dynamo have had success. The Rockets, it's been a few years, but they've been relatively close. I mean, they're the next best thing to winning the championship almost with the Western Conference Finals, a series away from it, a game away from it, a couple of points away from it. Astros brought home the hardware last year. but the Texans have done nothing. Haven't even gotten out of the second round of the playoffs, honestly. Not even sniffing the Super Bowl. But yet, it seems like they have the most blind allegiance as far as fans. Now, Waz, I want to know your opinion, man. Do you think it's just because, Texas is a football state, Houston is a football town, and just because the NFL is what it is, you only get a limited number of games? Or do you feel like there's another reason why people are in this city, I think, when it comes down to it, are the most diehard Texans fans? Even with the Astros, people jumped on the bandwagon after they won it. But, there were still a lot of people who were skeptical even up until the World Series because, the Astros been to the World Series before. But then you had a bunch – people came out the woodworks for the World Series. What do you think that is with the Texans in the city of Houston?
Well, I think it does have a factor that football is the king sport in America. Because I remember maybe 2 or 3 years ago, nobody was showing up to Astro games. It was like a 5-year span where nobody was showing up to Astros games. We even seen it last year when it came to the Houston Rockets. People don't show up to the Rockets games. But you got other teams like the Warriors. You got other teams like the Knicks. You got other teams like the Lakers and teams like that sell out their stadium every single game. So it kind of confuses me why this city doesn't support the actual winning franchises. The Texans have been subpar and mediocre for the last 20 years. If not, they've been below that. It's only been one good season when we went 12-4, and then, we got our ass whooped in the playoffs by the New England Patriots. So I don't see what people see in this team. But I do remember when the Texans, at first, it wasn't a lot of people supporting the Texans. And then it seemed like when that team first made the playoffs for the first time, that's when the Texans started accumulating a lot of fans. Because I remember people who used to say, oh, man, the Texans trash, fuck the Texans. And they used to just bash the Texans' name. And then all of a sudden, I seen people buying I remember when they came out with the Arian Foster wristbands and stuff like that. And people started buying those. Everything was sold out just because this team made the playoffs. And they thought this team actually had a chance at winning a Super Bowl. So, to be honest, I think Houston just has a lot of fair weather fans. They like to jump and ride winning streaks. They don't like to support their teams throughout the regular seasons for all three sports. Even the Dynamo games don't have a lot of attendance. So it's something about Houston where they only want to show up to winning teams' games. But I don't understand it. I really don't understand why they show up to the Texans game, because last season I went to the game against the Browns and that game was sold out, or damn near sold out. So I guess Deshaun Watson had a factor on the ticket sales. But I see people on Facebook talking about and Twitter talking about, oh, yes, I love my Texans. And they just being blind to the situation. And it's kind of sad because this franchise is going to continue to do the same things they do when people continue to fill up those seats and continue to buy jerseys and continue to buy merchandise that's related to this franchise. And it's sad because you see Tillman Fertitta sitting in a Diamond Club at the Astros game right now, but do you see Bob McNair there? No, you do not see Bob McNair there. And there's a reason why bosses only mess with the real bosses. Nobody wants to mess with Bob McNair, especially when he came out in this offseason and he had all those critical topics he was talking about dudes or slaves, dudes or prisoners or whatever. And then you had Jadeveon Clowney wearing the prisoner thing, and then Dwayne Brown with the fist and things like that. And for him to go out there, and that story with Andre Johnson told about him and Cal McNair coming out there when Obama won president, and he was like, they was all mad and stuff. So I guess guys are realizing who Bob McNair is, and they don't want to be a part of that.
Definitely agree with you on that. Maybe they don't want to be affiliated, associated with that culture, or those statements or that stigma that went with it. And I can definitely agree. And I think it's funny because you mentioned, Fertitta being there right now, the Beard, CP3, Melo is even at the Astros game right now. Those guys are all down there watching the game. But when you come to think about it, I'm like, hey, man, when do you ever see these guys at Texans games? The rest of this city, it's like they support one another. I could swear, even sometimes the Dynamo get a little bit of love. But, it's just like anywhere else, or any when it comes to the Texans, they just don't. They don't. There's not that same energy. Now you've seen individual Texans players get love from the Rockets. You've seen DeAndre Hopkins come and shoot the first shot at a couple of games and for the Rockets. I want to say it was another player I can't think of. Whitney Merciless came and shot one. And I want to say it was the third person. I can't think of who else it was. But again,
I could have sworn Kareem Jackson was there too. I can't remember.
Okay. And, it's like I say, it's just interesting how these teams, like I say, when it's the Rockets, they actually on their Instagram feeds, on their social media feeds, they actually send direct love to the other team. Hey, we're rooting for you, Astros. Hey, Astros, we're rooting for the Rockets. But when it's the Texans, you don't see that camaraderie. And that's why I say there has to be another layer to it, that this ownership or these management groups or whatever it may be, there has to be some underlying ties. Now, I know Fertitta at one point in time was a partial owner of the Texans, and I don't know if, there was some bad blood there or what it was when he, kind of got out of that situation. And maybe there's a reason why he doesn't show love, or maybe why he doesn't want the Rockets to show love. But, I mean, even prior to him owning the team, there really wasn't that connection. There really wasn't that camaraderie. And so I think that it's just an issue. And again, I think it's just, with Houston just being a football city that they continue to love, they want to hope, they want to believe. But I think when you have another franchise or another team professionally that's winning, you're going to start to gravitate towards that. And that's what the Astros are currently doing. We can also talk about the Rockets, and I don't understand what it is, because the Rockets have year in and year out competed. They're always in the playoffs, even if they're, a 500 team or whatever it may be. It's been years they overachieved. When James Harden took them to the Western Conference Final, yeah, it didn't look good, but I mean, he was overmatched in certain years. And then, recently, like last year, they went when they actually had a team. CP3 goes down and gets injured. But with the Rockets games, you'll have people go to the Rockets games to show up, take a picture, and leave, or motherfuckers will show up at halftime, or something like that. Now, people have had a lot of reasons, and some of these reasons seem valid, but some of these reasons seem, a little sketchy, because people say, hey, they play all the time. Sometimes it's the middle of the week. And again, most football games are on Sunday, so you got a lot of people that are off. You got a lot of people who can kind of schedule around that once a week thing. But the Rockets, play about 7 o'clock, which is not that late. And again, people talk about traffic, about downtown, trying to get there. But my thing is, if you really support the team, you kind of allocate and you make sure that you kind of accommodate for that. So I don't think that's really just the most legitimate excuse. So you can say people are getting off at, hey, maybe 5 or 6 or whatever it is. And it can be a little difficult to get downtown. But, I mean, depending on where you're coming from, because like I say, I've gone to Rockets games from the opposite side of town, being late, outskirts of the city, and still been able to make it on time, or maybe just a minute or two after tip-off and still – be able to catch these games. So I don't always think that's a legitimate excuse, but a lot of people use it. Oh, well, it's too much to navigate downtown. Yeah, it sounds good, but you have to account for that. Why do you think the Rockets don't necessarily get the love that they get until it's the brink or a chance for them to have a championship and win? What do you think is the problem with that situation?
I don't know what's the real problem with that, to be honest, because for this team to have brought two championships to the city, it baffles me, because, I mean, this team has never just had a reason to tank. I mean, they had a first-round pick, a number 1 pick in Yao Ming, and ever since then, they haven't really tanked. I mean, they've been trying to attain assets and flip assets to bring in talent. They brought in a superstar in James Harden, who's won the MVP or been in the MVP conversation for the last 5 years since he's been here. They've been going to the playoffs every single year. I just don't understand. Like you said, people don't show up to the Rockets game until the second quarter. And it's sad. This is not only for the regular season, for the playoffs. People don't show up to the second quarter. And these guys like to see when they have the pregame warm-ups and things like that, they like to see the fans supporting them. They like the pregame intros to get all hyped and stuff like that. I know as a player I like to see that type of stuff. People cheering you on, the fans all hyped and things like that. But it's sad. And they need to, like I said, these people are hypercritical of themselves. I mean, they need to support these teams. It's no excuse. I mean, my parents stay in Rosenberg, so when I'm back home, I went to the Astros game, and I left the house an hour before the game, got downtown within 45 minutes in rush hour, and I had no problem getting in my seat before the game started. So people like to find excuses. I just think that people don't really care about basketball. To be honest, this city, if they keep doing this a year after year, the city doesn't even deserve a franchise like that. Because you got cities like Oklahoma City selling out games every single game. I know they don't got nothing else to do in Oklahoma City, but shit, they shouldn't play team. Seattle used to do the same thing. It's just a lot of fan bases that's out there that's diehards, and I just think Houston isn't a diehard basketball city.
Okay, I can agree. And it's funny that you see those kind of other areas without other major franchise, like you said. Seattle. You have fucking Oklahoma City. San Antonio, and there ain't too much other stuff to do. Franchise wise. But then you talk about championships. Now, Oklahoma City situation was interesting because you had so many superstars on that team at one point in time, and so you would go see that. But here, even in Houston, and I want to see if the Carmelo Anthony effect is going to have anything. But what you'll see at Rockets games is people will come out to see other superstars from other teams. And that baffles me. That blows my mind. Like, now we have 3 stars on this team. Clint Capella is a star in his own right. If he plays like playoff Clint, then he's going to be probably the best center in the league because the defense that he played was amazing. But again, you would think that a city who had the best chance of knocking off, Golden State and pushing them to the brink, still with Game 6, Game 7, when you had a chance to get rid of them, Game 7 especially, people weren't showing up, weren't coming to the game, it was just looking lackluster coming up at halftime. Like, I mean, little things, fan participation, that pressure when guys are shooting those free throws, they look and say, oh, shit, these motherfuckers' seats empty. It ain't no – when you're making that noise, that little shit trying to get in their heads because, even though most of the time it doesn't work, but you see with some of those particular softer superstars, you look at the Westbrooks of the world, the Currys of the world, some of these other guys, some of that fan shit gets in their head, and that's what that fan base needs to do. They need to be that cheering section. They need to be that rooting section. Yep. That helps create that little distraction. Now, I'm not saying go and act like Boston and throw beer on people and do all that other dumb shit, but you come and you bring that energy. Energy is a real thing, and I think that with Houston, they just like I understand, that people feel like, oh well, it's Golden State. There's no way we can win, but we had them on the brink. We were up. We had the situation in hand, and yet the fans still were not showing that support. Like, it was motherfuckers from Houston wearing Golden State jerseys around town. Like, it was just such mark ass shit because nobody was a Golden State fan prior to a couple of years ago. You couldn't name motherfucker from Golden State, prior to a few years ago. When the Rockets used to beat the brakes off Golden State, and then they changed the way they play when
with Monte Ellis, when they had Monte Ellis and them boys.
Exactly. And it just like Curry was a nobody. Like, and it killed me. These people, I've been following Steph Curry, since he got him. Like, shut the fuck up. No, you haven't. Nobody did. His daddy wasn't following him since he got in the goddamn league. Like, come on, man. Like, motherfuckers kill me with the shit and the bandwagon is. But there's a lot of people from Houston on that bandwagon shit. Now,
and they be the first ones. As soon as a player mess up and make a mistake, we need to trade him. He's sorry.
Yeah.
The Texans need to move and things like that. Yeah, they be the first ones to criticize the teams.
Crazy shit, and don't really be supporters again. And that's the shit that baffles me. Like, who was it? I was just thinking about the fucking in basketball. Who was it? The damn I was talking about. Football. Like, I can understand people being Dallas fans. I don't like it, don't condone it. I can understand some motherfuckers' logic is, okay, Houston football is gone. I'm going to go to the next closest team in Texas. Whatever. You know what I mean? If people are born in Dallas, that is what it is. But it's a little bit too many for my liking, but I can understand it, don't care for it. It is what it is. When the Oilers left, they traded to the next team in the state, and they were like, fuck it, I'm not switching over to Texas. I'm going to be loyal to this team, whatever. You're entitled to do whatever the fuck you want to do. But what I don't comprehend are the Patriots fans in Houston, motherfuckers who are Colts fans in Houston, or fans just people who are fans of these teams that have nothing to do with the state, nothing to do with the city, and they're just fans of some random ass shit. And we're talking about people who have been fans since the Texans have been in existence, even younger fans, and it blows my mind. Like, I don't comprehend any of it. You know what I mean? It's just like it's crazy. I don't understand the logic behind it. I don't comprehend why somebody would do that. But again, people like that bandwagon shit. They're gonna jump on whatever bandwagon team that they can find, and it blows my fucking mind. Like, Zach says no teams in Jersey. Well, you got the Devils, huh? They the New Jersey Devils still there?
The jerseys in Jersey. Don't they got the Nets? Oh no, the Nets moved from Jersey.
Mm-hmm. In Brooklyn now.
Forgot about that.
You don't need no.
Oh yeah, the Jets.
The Jets in Jersey?
Yeah, the stadium is in Jersey.
Okay. Shit. Man, that's what I'm saying. So it's just like I say, it's a wild thing, man. It's a crazy situation. I don't comprehend why people do that type of thing, you know. But again, I guess bandwagon is cool nowadays. I guess it was cool back in the day or whatever it may be. But it just you say you've been with the Rockets since the Scola days. Well, at least you ain't trying to say you was down since since 94, 95, but you're too young for that anyway. So, but again, and like I say, man, my allegiance is, and this is why Soft Sports got started. It's for the city. Like, I can't see myself, being a Houstonian saying, man, those Mavs, they're pretty good, or man, I fuck with the Rams, and like shit like that. Like, man, get the fuck out of here. But I guess some people are built differently. Some people can't ride with a team through the good and the bad, and they just fucking say fuck it. You know what I'm saying? And so it is what it is. Damn. We say it's 18.
Jackie Bradley Jr.
We're gonna shoot that nigga. So here's the deal, man. Like, y'all gotta calm down. And then this is another thing. This is what I'm talking about, y'all, man. What's up, Devontae? This is what I'm talking about too with y'all. As soon as something goes slightly, because that's the next point I want to make. As soon as something goes slightly negative with any Houston team, motherfuckers just jump ship. Like you were just talking about, as soon as something happens, they want to sell the team. They want to trade somebody. They want to get rid of this, that, and the third. The Astros stole a game in Boston, okay? And now basically if Boston ends up winning, it's not over with, but if Boston ends up winning, what's up, Roscoe? Man, how's everything been? If Boston ends up winning, then it's like, or this game, not the whole series, but this game, it's evened up to what it should be. You know what I'm saying? It's what it should be. As far as, they get their 2 home games, we got the game at home, technically. That's what the series should be. The people are already ready to jump ship. Guess what? Somebody has to go up. It's an odd number. You know what I'm saying? It's an odd game, so somebody's going to have 2 wins, somebody's going to have 1. Like, motherfuckers act like they didn't see how many times the Astros went to Game 7 last year. Like, it blows my mind. You know what I mean? It's just
Yankees and the Dodgers.
Exactly, and it's crazy. Like, and that's what I'm saying. Like, it was motherfuckers in the Texans game, regardless how ugly it was quitting, and it's fourth quarter. It was still double digit. Oh, it's over with, or it's this, that, and like, it's a bad game. It's an ugly game. But guess what? Until that fucking clock strike 0, until that last out happens, until whatever last opportunity. I don't know how they do it in soccer. I know they play 90, but then they had some little extra minutes, that little weird shit they be doing. But until it's over, you know what I'm saying, you gotta ride. You know what I mean? Like, I don't understand people who jump ship, like who just give up and quit. Like, I look, we go to the bar together, I can't fuck with y'all, man. Look, motherfucker might jump me. I'm like, oh, they stole off on that now. I can't. Ain't no helping him. It's over with. Like, come on, man. You got to ride till the wheels fall off, and then shit. And then keep rolling, man. You know what I'm saying? You sparking down the highway. Like, I don't understand that. Like, if I'm a cheer during the good times, I'm accept all the bad too. I might not be happy about it, but it's just like, shit, you can't just jump ship the moment something doesn't happen. And that's what we have now. I think that's part of that instant gratification society that we have. I mean, like, I don't know what it is. I have no idea what it is. But what I want to get to, and what I'm saying is, Houston, we're so used to having negative outcomes. We're so used to having, the things not fall in our direction. Do you think that has had like a lasting impact on the minds of the actual real Houston fans? They just kind of like, because I've seen some stuff the other day, and just people are just super negative, just like, well, it's Houston, we can't have nothing good. Or the day the Texans win, the Astros lose, they're like, oh, it's just what it is. We don't, it's just Houston, we can't have 2 good things. The Astros win the World Series, Deshaun goes down. Like, has it become ingrained in the mind of Houston fans that it's always going to be, the sports gods are always going to have some type of negative to apply to the city?
I mean, To most of them, I mean, personally to me, no, because that's not an excuse. I mean, it just so happens we know Chris Paul's dealt with injuries throughout his career, and he just happened to go down in the playoffs. And once that happened, I knew it was going to be a slight chance because James Harden was going to have to carry that team against one of the greatest teams of all time or dynasties of all time in the Golden State Warriors. So you can't just. And then with Deshaun Watson going down, I mean, Deshaun. He's a rookie. He went down. It's fine. I mean, he's going to come back next year. People overreact to situations like that. I don't understand. Like, I've seen guys talking about, oh, I ain't watching the Texans no more. Deshaun Watson hurt. But that's supposed to be your favorite team. That doesn't make no sense to me. Same thing with the Rockets situation. What's going to happen if the Astros lose this series? I don't think they're going to lose the series. I think they're going to win this series still. It's a 7-game series. But you're going to see Houston fans talking about, oh, man, yeah, the Astros was a flake. They should never won last year and things like that. So it's kind of sad that these people want to just jump ship when these teams start losing or something bad happens to these teams, because true fans will stick throughout the pain. Look at the Cleveland Brown fans, man. They stick through an 0-16. Oh, what you say? Oh, yeah, yeah. And it's sad. Last year, I got that Cleveland shirt last year. I wore it to school once when they was going 0-16. And I get more reaction wearing Cleveland Browns shirt than I get wearing my Texans and Rockets shirts. They be like, oh, man, I support you, man. You're a real one and things like that. And I'm not even a goddamn Cleveland Brown fans. It's just my boy play for the Browns and shit like that. But it's funny that I talk to people around school. I talk to people around the area, around the city, and things like that. And they're like, "Yeah, these Houston teams are just depressing and stuff like that." But they be quick to support the Cowboys. They be quick to support the Spurs and things like that. And I'm like, "Aren't you from Houston? Weren't you born and raised in Houston?" And they like, "Yeah." Well, but I mean, the Spurs be winning championships and things like that. That's not an excuse to be a Spurs fan just because they winning. I mean, a real diehard fan, you don't hear dudes from Philly talking about, oh, yeah, I'm a New York fan. I'm a Yankees fan. I'm a Knicks fan. You don't hear people from New York saying, oh, yeah, I'm a Red Sox fan and things like that. No, they don't play that shit. They're real passionate about their sports. They're real passionate about their city. They support their city. They come up on their city. And it comes down to a problem that used to happen early in the late 90s, early 2000s, when the Houston Rappers was beefing with the North Side and the South Side and all that stuff. It's just like Houston, people can't get along. People can't come together and collectively as a people. Okay, they did come together for the hurricane and things like that, but why does it have to take a hurricane to do that? Build your city up. Build that name for your city, and people gonna start respecting your city. Because you look at San Francisco. San Francisco, they was all right, mediocre. I mean, then they had the Silicon Valley. Then they had the Golden State Warriors. And then they have all these teams coming up. I mean, the 49ers and stuff like that. And now you hear, I mean, they stuck through that stuff. They built up their city, and now they all popular and things like that. So I just think it's a problem with people in Houston in general.
Agree, because what you get is you get a lot of that bullshit where, say, the Texas team or the Houston team is out of the playoffs or out of the race or something like that. They'll be quick to go jump on another team's bandwagon. Like I remember a couple of years back, and it was I want to say it was the Rockets. They were in the playoffs. They ended up getting knocked out, and I saw so many people. I think it was the year that it was San Antonio and Cleveland. So many people talking about, oh, I'm rooting for San Antonio, because, they're still in Texas. And then, man, fuck San Antonio, because guess what happens when they win? They're in our fucking division. They come back and they talk more shit because they got rings, but you supporting their ass. You rooting for their ass. That shit is like, the logic to that to me is fucking absurd. But yet somehow people formulate this thing and try to make it make sense. Well, because, yeah, and then so next year when we play them, they're going to be like, oh, yeah, we got that ring. What the fuck y'all done? So then you still rooting for them then? No. So, like, it doesn't make sense to root for them. When my team is out, like, I don't have a dog in the fight. I don't give a fuck. Like, I don't care. Like, at halftime, I wouldn't even be concerned with watching the Super Bowl, like, unless because they played in Houston or something. Or it's like, I may or may not watch. I'm not going to be committed to that shit. If my team is not in the mix, I do not give a fuck. But you have people who just have to watch something for the sake of watching some shit, and but yet when their team is doing something, they don't really support until they are absolutely positively sure that they gonna get credit for some shit. But again, like I say, it's the mentality, and I don't know why it is like that in Houston. Why we have so many bandwagoners, why we have so many people who are just willing to jump ship. It's like the loyalty here is suspect, and you would think that. Maybe because of all the suffering like the Cleveland teams. Because think about it. Cleveland has professional teams in all sports. They have the Indians. They have the Browns. They have the fucking Cavaliers. Yeah. And they've been trashing all their sports, but yet motherfuckers still stick with them. Houston has had success in, at least for the last few years, especially in 2 out of the 3 teams, And then the Texans were doing all right. They were winning, the division a little bit, and people were okay. Like, people were more okay. This is what don't make any sense to me. People were more excited and fired up about the Texans winning the division, getting knocked out of the first round of the playoffs, knocked out of the second round of the playoffs, than they are about the Rockets making it to the Western Conference. Oh, well, they ain't got no chance. The Texans didn't have any chance when they were fucking playing. But yet we'll still stick on that. Like, no, I mean, we went 9-7 and we got blew out by Western Conference. But man, hey, we won the division. Guess what? Rockets had the best fucking record in the entire league last year. No love for the motherfucking Rockets. Like, well, they just can't beat Golden State. No, who were the Texans beating? Who were the Texans beating back then? But yet you're happy to cheer for them just because. But yet when the Rockets do it and dominate the entire season with injuries, with when they were hardly really healthy towards the second half of the season, and they changed their game up. They went from being one of the faster teams in the league to slowing it down and still being able to win games. The narrative is still those casual fans, oh, James Harden doesn't play defense. That's the biggest bullshit lie that you can tell right now, at least for the past season. And I'd almost say a season now because he started playing a little right before Chris Paul he got a little bit better. He's gotten a little bit better as the years gone on.
Every year.
Because I didn't care for a lot of the flopping he used to do earlier. He don't flop as much as he used to. He's smarter. He's a better basketball player. But for some reason, people look to try to find a way to say everything that he does because he finds a way to exploit the rules and capitalize on them. No, they don't like, oh, he has a traveler. He's doing that. But then you start seeing other players do the same shit he's doing. Oh, man, but you seen such they did. He took Ginobili's Euro step and stepped it up. You know what I'm saying? And added his own flair to it. Then you see other players start emulating. He's changed the game with the step back 3. Now everybody does it. Oh, you seen such. It's not as good as James Harden because he's been doing it for how long? But yet, people like to take that and run with it and give it to anybody else, But it just kills me, man. It blows my mind. CP3, he was great the whole time he's with the Clippers. As soon as he gets to Houston, oh, man, he's just too old and he's too this and he's too that. But then when a guy like whatever.
And they wonder why the national media don't respect us because this is what the fans do to their own city.
Yeah. And so that's what I'm saying, man. Like, it's just we hate on ourselves. And then we want the national media to say good shit about us. But what I think, honestly, is the majority of fans just listen to the national media. The majority of people are watching ESPN, and because we're not getting that love, getting that credit, they don't feel vindicated or they don't feel like justified, or we must not be that good or we must not be this. The national media, but y'all got to understand how a lot of this shit works, man. It's where the money is. So L.A. has a bunch of teams, has a bunch of money to spend, to blow. Really, honestly, like when has L.A. won? When's the last time L.A. won some shit? Lakers have been trash, you know what I'm saying? Astros have handled the Dodgers recently, but yet they still give these motherfuckers more coverage. Fucking LA teams just now getting teams and shit.
Look at the Giants got a Monday night football game every week or a Sunday night football game every other week, and they only won 1 game.
Exactly.
That baffles me.
But yeah,
I was thinking about that last night. I'm like, why is these dudes playing on Monday night football again?
Exactly. But yet Odell gets all this love simply because he's in New York. When you have a receiver who is much better, much more humble, much more consistent, nowhere near as injured, doing this shit day in and day out, but yet don't get the love. Just now gets the love because Odell started acting like a bitch again. So, but have y'all seen Hopkins? Now you want to talk? Now it's a thing like, I don't give a fuck about Shannon saying that shit because, man, the shit's been going on. He was talking about, what, 2015, 2016? Like, you going to go back and talk about what he did 3 or 4 years ago. Why weren't you talking about it then? Why didn't y'all talk about it when it was actually fucking happening? Nobody gave it any credit. Nobody wanted to talk about it. Nobody wanted to have that conversation. Now, 3 years later, we all remember Hopkins played with all these guys. And he was like, Okay, we got a quarterback now. Like, what? That's not even relevant no more. But now y'all feel like y'all spitting some facts because y'all talked about some shit that Texans fans have been talking about for 3 or 4 years now. You know, but now because the national media says it becomes a thing. Man, that's why I say fuck the national media and fuck what they're talking about. You got to listen to the hometown. But then even with the hometown, you get, if you talk about the newscast, they don't know. Newscasters are like, have y'all ever seen Anchorman? That's what I really believe. I really believe newscasters are just like that. Like, no bullshit, you know what I'm saying? Because you listen to a news, they have the fakest fucking shit going on. They don't know what the fuck is going on with the sports team. They just read some shit off some paper. Hopefully they can do it. Yeah, you know, they fucking, Deshaun Watson's out there scoring home runs. Yeah, Alex Bregman, he scored a touchdown. Like, newscasters don't know what the fuck is going on. Them motherfuckers are like hollow vessels that just read off a fucking paper and look a certain way and people just believe them. You can't trust a fucking newscaster. So the local news, and you get your sports from them, they ain't talking about shit. You got like AT&T, what South? Well, it's not AT&T no more. Well, no, it is AT&T now. It was Root Sports. When it was Root Sports, I liked it a lot better. But whatever it is, what it is. You know, they're going to give you your Astros coverage. They're going to give you your Rockets coverage. You know, but to find honest conversation about the Texans, you're not going to find that. You know, 610 has a bias. I feel like because they are the flagship station of the Texans, so you can't talk too much shit. You can maybe talk a little bit about this and that, but they can't talk too much shit about the Texans because then the Texans will be like, fuck y'all, we're going to go to 790. 790 has the Rockets and the Astros, you know what I mean? So that's where you're going to catch those games. It's just hard to find truly honest opinions, about these teams. And, you know, again, that's one why y'all have the sauce. That's why you have the tubers. That's why you have the round table, because they're going to give you honest opinions. So make sure y'all hit that description link, description box and check for the links below. And make sure y'all subscribe to everybody. Make sure y'all show love. Make sure y'all show Wise some love. Go subscribe.
I need 90 more to 400.
Yeah,
Make sure y'all get there.
Yeah, we on a mission to 400. No excuses, man. But my thing is, it's crazy, man, because I just don't understand why this city is like that and why we accept this. You know, it's got to be. You see the Cleveland fans, they be unhappy with the performances, but guess what? 0-16, 0-14, 0-15, they're still at the fucking games. They might have a paper bag on their head, but they still there. They're a dog pound. It's still there. You know, let the Rockets start off not looking too great these first games. Man, you're going to see the Red Rowdy's going to be the only people in the damn stadium, you know. It just baffles me, man, and it bothers me. It concerns me when you have franchises like the Rockets who are willing to go out on a limb to try to win. You had the Astros who made those moves. And again, the Astros are starting to get their love because they got the hardware. But if the Astros would have lost that series against L.A., I mean, and we're speculating, how many motherfuckers would have jumped shot? I knew they couldn't do it. I knew they wasn't going to be, you know, all this. Like, them motherfuckers could have had the greatest postseason run up into that Game 7 and got shafted or something. And motherfuckers would jump ship. Like, that's the kind of fans that we have. Like, I don't understand it. And it bothers me. But here's what we're going to do, man. We're going to open up the Sauceline. Man, I want to hear y'all's thoughts. Give me a second. Let me do a little audio check. And we're going to open up the Sauceline. I want to hear y'all's thoughts. I want to know, man, Sauce Nation, I want y'all to call in. And I want y'all to just give an honest opinion. I want y'all to give me an honest opinion of how y'all feel about the city of Houston, the fan base. It's really about the fan base because I think it's how we carry ourselves. Because you look at Philly. Philly just won a Super Bowl. They ain't got no problem booing they motherfuckers. You know what I'm saying? Like, is it the franchises in this town? Is it the fans? I want to know what y'all think. But like I said, give me just a second. We're going to do a little audio check. And then we All right, sorry about that. So here's the deal, man. We're gonna open up the sauce line, and we're gonna let y'all call in. I want to hear your thoughts. You know, you could be texting sauce. And shout out to Chandler, man, because he definitely sent us a text earlier. I thought we got to ranting and raving, and forgot to motherfucking me send a shout out. And let's get into it, man. Yeah, shout out to Chandler, man, always holding down the sauce. And he said, shout out to Honcho and Y. So I appreciate that, man. That was early in the show, and I apologize for it taking so long to get that out there. But, man, like, here's the deal. Like I say, I want to know y'all's thoughts, man. I want y'all to either text in, call in, or we got a call coming in right now. All right, what's the motherfucking deal? Who we got calling into the sauce line this evening?
What's good, Honcho? This is Vincent, man.
Vince, what's the motherfucking deal, man? What you want to drip on the line tonight?
I was just wanting to talk about what you was talking about, man. And for me, man, I moved down here in H-Town in 06. And I think, man, the fan base is coming around, man. I just think that it just took a while just for the simple fact. You remember the Rockets won them back-to-back championships, man. And then after that, it's been quite a while, you know, and then the football team left and all that. So I think it's coming around, man. I just think it just took a while. And then, you know, with the Astros finally winning, you know what I'm saying? I think it's coming around, but it's just coming around slowly. You know what I'm saying? There's still a lot of people that are diehard fans, but I think that there's a huge base. They're still coming around. So that's why I kind of feel like.
Okay, and I can see that because, you know, yeah, there were little gaps in and out of that area. There was you know, the Rockets had their little transition in them, the blue jersey period. I don't care what nobody say because I did not like those blue jerseys. I don't give a fuck what nobody said about the pinstripes. I do not like them hoes. But then, you know, like I say, then they kind of found a little groove. And there was a point where they were middle of the pack. You know, they were kind of around that 7th, 8th seed a lot. And I guess, you know, people could not have a lot of faith in that. The Astros had some bad seasons for a while. Like Wise was talking about earlier, you know, there was some time they couldn't give away seats to the Astros games. And then, you know, in the Texans, when they first got started, I think a lot of people were excited, but then a lot of people were upset, you know, when the Oilers left, became the Titans. I know a couple of fans who kind of went and became Titans fans, and I know some people who kind of said, you know, fuck it, I'm going to become a Dallas fan. And I think that it took for the Texans to you know, round, what was that, about 12 when they had some decent seasons, for people to start kind of leaving those bases and coming back home. But still, even then, I think we still have a lot of people, or maybe it's just newer fans. And maybe that's the problem that we're just having to see. Maybe I guess it's taking time for that newer fan base to build up. I'm not exactly sure, but I think it's kind of thrown off.
Yeah, I think you're right, man. Not only that, too, you know, and remember too, they even had what was it? I think the Dynamo won a couple championships. You didn't hear a whole lot even about that, you know. So, like I said, I think it's just taking some time, man. Just because there's been a huge gap of not winning, and then the winning is starting to come back. I think it's just taking a while, but I think it's going to come around.
Okay. Well, I appreciate your call, Vince, man. I definitely agree. I think it's going to take some time to build, but, man, shout out to Vince for holding it down.
All right, man.
Already. But, yeah, even that.
Man,
go ahead.
I was at U of H when they first opened the brand new stadium, man. And when it seemed like people will only come to the games. The games will only be sold out when they play, like, big-time opponents. But when you playing just, like, maybe a Tulane or you playing a TSU or teams like that, those lower-end teams, nobody want to show up to the game. Or Tulsa and things like that. And those Memphis, and those games are important. Nobody want to show up until it's time for the championship game, the conference championship game, the American championship game. It doesn't have to take winning for people to show up to games. And that's my problem. It does not have to take winning for people to show up, because I see teams like Utah Jazz. Utah Jazz have been mediocre for I don't know how long now. They've been mediocre. And, I mean, yeah, they get to the playoffs. They've been 7th, 8th seed, middle of the pack. But they all their games are always sold out. Yeah. And that shouldn't be an excuse for Houston. I mean, you're a big city. You're the third largest city in the U.S. I mean, the fourth largest, but about to be the third largest in a few years. And it's no reason why you shouldn't be selling out games. That can't be an excuse. Just because the team's not winning, that should not be an excuse when you got other teams that value their teams and show more respect to their teams and take pride in their teams, no matter win or lose.
Yeah, and I agree with you on that, and I think that's the thing. And it was just kind of interesting because when he said something, it just kind of had me thinking, because another conversation we have often is a lot of these fan bases, a lot of these fans in Houston, except for Sauce Nation. But you come across some Houston fans that are not necessarily the sharpest knives in the drawer, or they have these throwed off beliefs about things, and it's just like, maybe this is their first time watching certain teams or their first time getting into certain stuff. And again, like you say, be quick to want to ship somebody off and trade somebody off. Sometimes that's not how shit always works, man. Like, again, you have to have faith in, letting certain guys develop. I know we talk a lot of shit about Davenport. We talk a lot of shit about Rankin, and rightfully so. I mean, you should be able to talk and critique your team if motherfuckers playing like trash, but will they develop and get better? Who knows? But I'm not going to go super hard on Rankin. I'm just saying he's not, the coach staff not put him in the position he needs to be in because he's a fucking rookie. He needs to develop.
We'll rather eat crow in those situations. It's not like we just saying these dudes is trash and like you saying that they don't have the opportunity to develop. It's just that they're not getting the job done right now at this moment. It's just not like we're just gonna be like, oh nah, you need to get rid of this dude and things like that. You need to trade these dudes. Like I remember people so ready to ship off Dwayne Brown because they're saying, oh, just because he won a guaranteed contract, just because he won money, this man has put in the time with this team and this organization. This guy put his life on the line, going out there, putting his time and his effort to protect quarterbacks, all the trash quarterbacks his team was putting up there. And you can't pay the man his guaranteed contract? I mean, what if this man was to get in a car accident and couldn't play football again? You got to look at the player situation too, man. You can't just look at the team situation because the team is just a business.
Exactly. Look at Earl Thomas. Same situation. Yep. Wanted some guaranteed money. Seattle didn't want to guarantee his money. What happens? Fucking fucks his leg up on the field, breaks his leg or whatever. And now he's sitting at home not getting paid, not getting shit. And again, he's out of there. Now, see, Richard here says, man, I'm a huge Texans fanatic from NY. It's the coaching period. It's not the coaching. It's not just the coaching. Because if you go back and somebody put some film up today, I want to say it was Pat D. Stanton. He had some little clips he put up there. And, man, it showed Watson has been doing a lot. He's missing a lot of opportunities. He's staring down Hopkins a lot. And my thing is this. I'm not going to say it's all on him. I've been saying that it's not all on him, but it's a lot of execution. And people just they act like they're afraid to say, hey, Watson hasn't been all the way up to par. He's not, pursuing all of his options. But again, the reason why I think that is, and then I'm not blaming him, is because he has no protection. So he's looking for what his most trusted source is, and generally it's going to be DeAndre, and he's hoping that, he can get available, and that's who he's going to target. I have no problem saying, no, that, hey, even though he's getting pummeled, and I think it's affecting the way that he thinks. I think it's affecting the way that he plays the game. So then I circle it back around and I'll say, hey, it's talent because they don't have the talent to protect him. That plays out into the execution. Again, that talent is not able to execute. It affects the way that Deshaun plays because there was a couple plays that he was targeting Hopkins downfield. It was one they showed that Kuti was wide open. He had other options, but I think a lot of the time now at this point, because he knows that he has such little time to throw, I think prior to the snap, Deshaun has it in his mind who he's going to. And I think that's hindering, and I think that's hurting him from seeing other options. But again, there can be issues with the coaching as far as, hey, calling quicker routes, doing something a little bit different to allow him to get the ball out quicker. And, let those playmakers make plays. We talked about that a little bit yesterday. But it comes down to a factor on all levels because a lot of people say, oh, it's the play calling, it's the coaching. But you go back and look at every one of these plays, there are options, there are opportunities. But now as a coach, you have to look at it and say, okay, well, my player is doing this. This is his tendency. This is his habit. These are the situations we put him in. All right, we got to change the game up so we can give him better options because we see that he's getting killed. This line ain't worth the fuck. We're going to have to do some quick routes so he can just get the ball out of his hands and trust that our guys, Will Fuller, you brought all this speed in, trust that Will Fuller, trust that Kiki, trust that Hop can get out there and make plays. You know what I'm saying? But it is what it is, man. It is what it is. So my thing is, I mean, it's easy. It's an easy take to say, oh, it's the play calling. But then when you go back and actually look at those plays and you say, oh, well, shit, so-and-so was open. Oh, shit. Blue was open.
I swear, when I go back and watch the film, like 80% of the time, Lamar Miller just wide open, sitting in the middle of the field. I'm being honest to y'all. Yeah. I love Deshaun Watson, but I went back and watched the film at the last game, and some dudes was wide open plenty of times, but he was locked on DeAndre Hopkins, like Honcho said. You just got to go back and watch the film.
Yeah, and that's what I say. You just got to go back and see it in real time. It looks one way. In real time, of course you see it. Fuck, that line is getting killed. But at the same time, it's decision making that he's making the decisions on the field, and that's say, okay, well, I'm looking for Hop because I know Hop is my most consistent guy. Because he wants to get rid of the ball quick. So his in his mind, I feel like his first option, as soon as I see Hop get a little bit of yardage, a little bit of space, a little bit of separation, that's where I'm going. And so I think that's just the issue. I think you got to open up other opportunities because, again, the man doesn't have time really to go through all his reads, and I don't blame him for that. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I say it's a level of coaching or talent, and that's your GM situation. But then, you got to look at a lot of other things. I mean, it's just a lot of pieces all the way around from that front office and the moves that they've made to the coaching to trying to be able to do something. Because even then, with the talents you have, there's still only going to be so much you can do because the running game is so because you got guys that can't get a push up front. The trenches is where we're losing on that offensive side of the ball. I mean, and that's a big issue. And then Deshaun, as a quarterback, he just got to make the better decisions. And it's unfortunate that he's taking the hits. He's getting hurt like he is because, again, it's going to be another David Carr situation where you're going to have a talented quarterback. Because David Carr was a talented quarterback. But the thing is that he couldn't fucking get the ball off, so everybody wanted to fucking sit here and say, oh, it's David Carr's trash, David Carr's trash, David Carr was trash. Man, anybody behind that line would have had their careers ruined. I don't care if you could have put Peyton Manning back there. You could have put Tom Brady back there. Them motherfuckers would not be who you know them to be today. You could put a Breeze back there. Nobody would have survived and feeling like that's the way the game goes in the NFL behind that line because – those O-lines were trash. This O-line is trash. This O-line is equally as bad as those early on Texans years. And I don't know how you get back to that position when you've had talent that has come and gone. When at one point in time the Texans had the best line in the league, had a line full of Pro Bowlers a couple of years back for Matt Schaub, who was a so-so quarterback. But you gave this guy a great line and it made him look good. You give Deshaun Watson that same line, dog, you're talking Super Bowl, honestly, because there's too much talent in every other aspect of the game. But you had Dwayne Brown and let him go. You had Brooks and let him go. You had who am I thinking about? It was somebody else we had that was solid. Now I know a lot of people talking about Ben Jones, yeah. But Newton, Newton's situation. I saw people talking about Newton, but Newton, you didn't know what you were going to get back in Newton because he tore both of his fucking tendons.
Both his Achilles, man.
Yeah, so that's another conversation. But it's just like it is what it is, man. But at the same time, you got to look at I'm not going to kill Brian Gaines because it's his first year. I know a lot of people are like, oh, well, Norwell was available and Solder was available and such and so and so. Look at where they're at now. What are they doing? Nothing. They're not thriving. They're not killing. They're not stopping anything. You look at those rookies that everybody wanted. None of those rookies are really dominating anything, and the ones that the Texans have faced, they've had their way with them. So my thing is we can guess and we can speculate and we can say, oh, this, that, and the third. Nobody anticipated that Chantrell Henderson was going to go down in the first second series of the game, whatever, and be done for the season. Like, nobody speculated that because Henderson wasn't looking horrible. I know he was definitely better than what we have now. You know what I'm saying? He at least could have put himself in the way. He was a bigger dude that could have kept guys at arm's length. But, we can't complain about that. And so then you start throwing these guys into the fire who are not ready, man. And so it just is what it is. But being able to say, oh, we should have got such. Okay, that's spilled milk now. We can't do that. But then even then when you go back and look at that, hey, those guys aren't doing all that. And what do you think they would have done here in a Texas uniform? Then we'd have been complaining about, oh, we spent a lot of money on these dudes and they're trash. So, again, like I say, I'd rather have money to spend in the future and have a trash line other than be tied up to a bunch of trash-ass guys and still be trash and then be broke with it. So, I mean, they're just going to have to make the right decisions in the future as far as what to do with this team, man. We got a text here. Let me see what we got. Says, I mean, to be honest, this is Chandler. Says, I mean, to be honest, I really think we need to use Lamar Miller more in passing and running. Use Alfred Blue in running. I know that this might not happen, but what I'm hearing is that we've been cursed on the offensive line ever since we signed Tony Baselli. I wouldn't say it was all the way back because, again, there was one point in time we had a complete, the whole line was Pro Bowlers.
Brooks, Ben Jones, Dwayne Brown. I can't remember all these guys,
shit,
but
we had Chris Myers. Back when we had
Chris
Myers.
Was a legend.
What's
Chris
his name?
Myers was a legend.
What's old buddy who ended up going to the Chiefs? We had a line. I mean, we had a line, man, and they were solid. Like, it was a bunch of guys that we had that were good. I can't. The names is just.
I know who you're talking about from the Chiefs, the white boy with with the hair. I can't remember his name right now.
But like I said, man, it was a point in time the Texans were solid, and then little by little those pieces start going here, those pieces start going there, and then next thing you know, we are where we are now. And the only thing that we have on that line right now that is a constant, Eric Winston. There you go. Thank you, appreciate that, Longoria.
Yeah.
And you know, my thing is, shit. Now you got Martin, and then you got some other guys, and these other guys are what they are. And so, I mean, it's an unfortunate situation. But again, it's hard to find quality old linemen, point blank period. Everything you're doing is you're guessing and speculating. There's no guarantee that a guy's going to come out of college. It's one thing when you facing motherfuckers in college that you're just physically bigger than, physically stronger than, or naturally more athletic. But then when you get to the league and everybody does this, you know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? It's like, shit, okay. Sometimes, you know, when you the big dog on campus, yeah, it's easy to punk people to have your way. But some of these motherfuckers get to the pros and say, oh, shit, you know, maybe I'm not as ready as I thought I was. Some of these motherfuckers get intimidated. Some of these motherfuckers can't fuck with it. Say, I hate when people say Texas passed on future star and drafted a bum because at that time the person was probably better. Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. Like, the only situation where I wouldn't say that is like the Peters situation. You
Marcus
know,
Peters
was
yeah.
better
Marcus
then
Peters.
And better now. You know what I'm saying? They just passed.
Everybody knew at the time Marcus Peters was a good corner. He just punched his coach.
Yeah.
That was the only situation he had.
You know, Texas couldn't have that though. They can't have guys over here punching coaches. That wouldn't
Because
be right.
Look at that situation. The Texans did pick DeAndre Hopkins or Will Fuller too, because I remember they had all those receivers, Cordell Patterson and all those guys was coming out, and they was all ranked above DeAndre Hopkins, but we got DeAndre Hopkins. So I hate when people say you could have got this guy, you could have got that guy in the draft, because you don't know how certain players pan out on certain teams with certain coaches, certain schemes, and that's how I felt about Vince Young. Vince Young went to the Titans. Jeff Fisher didn't want him, so you can't just say Vince Young is trash, because he did do good while he was there. It's just that the coach didn't want him, and he didn't want that dude in his scheme. So some players just they get drafted out of, I don't know, by the GMs, and the coaches don't want that player on their team. So you can't just say this guy could have been a star here, this guy could have been a star there. So I'm not looking at that. I don't want the Texans to go spending a lot of money in free agency on offensive line this season, because I've seen the offensive line talent that's coming out in this free agency, and it ain't impressive at all. Ain't no big names on there. Ain't nobody that's really standing out. So, I mean, at this point, it's going to have to come to the Texans getting better scouts, evaluating talent better, and things like that, because, I mean, you can only build through the draft right now, to be honest.
I agree. Man, but here's the deal, you know. Ultimately, though, we were talking about, you know, is Houston a sports town? And I would have to say, yeah. You know, the Texans have fallen off the last couple of seasons, but prior to that, you know, they were taking a division, even though that's not something to hang your hat on, but for the situation they were put in, they were winning. The Rockets, we talked about, have been consistent. The Astros, the latest opportunity to bring home the hardware, they got it, and they're in contention to do it again. Excuse me. The Dynamo, they just won the Open Cup. So, you know, some people that may not be majors, but to other people, hey, that means something. You're winning something. But again, you just have to take the good with the bad. But I think across the major sports, we are making a name for ourselves. You have to pay attention to what's going on out here, especially with the Astros and the Rockets, because they're willing to pull the trigger. You see, you know, a lot of teams gave up when the Warriors were doing what they were doing. The only team who was really still fighting last season was the Rockets. And you saw what happened, how that praying to fruition, even though the major news media was, it's not going to work. Chris Paul and James Harden, no way, there's only one ball. Though now, you know, Carmelo comes into the equation. Oh, he'll never play six-man because he didn't want to do that in OKC. They didn't give him a role in OKC. So you see, he came over here, he happy with it. He's excited, you know what I'm saying? And it is what it is. So again, man, you just got to give it time. And I think the point of the sauce and the round table and everybody, you know, doing what we do is we're trying to bring a better understanding to the fans overall. Because I know we have a lot of young subscribers, or a lot of young folks who fuck with it. And I think that in this day and age of, again, you know, instant gratification, you know, we're looking everywhere else. Well, they're winning over here and they're winning over here. you got to ride with your squad, man, through the good and the bad. I mean, it is just what it is. Like I say, shit. The Texans have been fucking with it for the last, 16, 17 years, however long it's been. What is those? This is, 2018? It was, like, 02? So about 16, 17 years. It's just – it is what it is, man. It's like it's unfortunate. And I think those people who've been diehard Astros fans, they got the payoff for all their hard work, this last season. A lot of people jump on late. It doesn't have the same meaning. When you've been riding with somebody for a long, long time and they finally get it, it feels so much better than the people who just automatically allocate themselves with whoever won last. Oh yeah, I've been a Patriots fan, because they won last year or something like that. It's not true, and they're not true in their hearts. And if you have friends who do that, you got to be careful. You can't trust them. When you get in a bad situation, they'll turn on you. You know what I'm saying? They'll abandon you. I'm talking shit. But here's the deal, man. We're gonna get ready to go ahead and wrap it up. But I want y'all to check out. We'll be in the den at 10. I'll figure out what we're talking about here in just a minute. But Mr. Wise Citizens, anything you want to talk about before we get out of here? Or anything you want to say to the people before we get out of here?
Nothing. Just make sure y'all tell y'all friends. I know the Sauce Nation always 100. Y'all come through every night. Y'all talk about y'all Texans, win or lose. Y'all show up deep, no matter, regardless of the fact. But make sure y'all tell y'all friends, these fakers over here, that they need to take pride in their city, take pride in their teams, no matter win or lose. I mean, people don't need to be jumping shit, but I just want to show some gratification to you guys and tell y'all thank y'all for coming through every single night, because it is tough being a Texans fan every now and then. But shit, we've been through this. We've been through the ups. We've been through the downs. And hopefully one day we get to the up where we win a Super Bowl, because once the Texans win a Super Bowl, that's going to be like a feeling you never felt before. I mean, you're going to see grown men crying and things like that. But if you haven't already, check out my page, check out everybody page on the round table. Make sure you subscribe to me and all my brothers. Also go check out the den tonight at 10 o'clock, because it is some interesting conversations.
Absolutely appreciate that. We got two little texts. We'll read these real quick. Chandler says, even though I've been a fan of the Astros since the Killer B era, and I've been a fan of the Rockets since the Rockets had Akeem and Yao Ming and Tracy McGrady, I've been on the Texans since their ups and down years. And that's what I'm saying. And you just got to hold it down. It is what it is. But how much better it will feel, when you know that you've been supported. You can say, hey, I've been back since this, and you can recall all those memories, those heartbreaks, and then know at this time it feels good. But when you're not really a fan, you can just be like, well, I've been down since, they set the record. Okay, well, yeah, you was there for the good times. What the fuck good are you when it's bad? Who you going to jump ship to whenever it's bad? You know what I mean?
I still remember when we had the opportunity to beat the Colts and Sage Rosenfeld got helicoptered. Oh, man, that was a terrible moment. When you was talking about terrible moments. Man, that was a bad moment.
Yeah, Sauce tomorrow, Rockets at 7. So what it is, and that's what I'm saying. We do Rockets pregame. I'm glad you said that, 335. Appreciate it. We'll be a Rockets pregame show, so we probably will be a little bit early already. So we will be early for the Rockets pregame show. Rockets pregame probably about 45 minutes as opposed to the hour we usually do. Maybe it might be an hour, might be 45 minutes, but I'll make sure to post everything up early. So we will be talking Rockets tomorrow. Make sure y'all tune into that. We're going to get that party started, man. I can't lie. I enjoy the Texans. I enjoy doing the Texans pregame, but I think the Rockets pregames are some of my favorite. Even though y'all don't be showing love to the Rockets like that, I just enjoy those games more. Because because it's more frequently, so you kind of get to change the topic. You're talking about different players more often, and you get a little bit more action. But just because the Rockets, man, like I say, are underappreciated. And I know they're not gonna do me bad like the Texans been doing. You know what I'm saying? Phoenix will be joining us tomorrow. I don't care what he says. Somehow, some way, if I got to slide down to Georgia and tempt him with a bucket of Zaxby's, got to do him like the old cartoons. Where they had like the box with the stick, and they put like a little fucking treat under the fucking box, and they be waiting behind the tree just to pull a little string and trap him. That's what we're gonna do. We're gonna get some Zaxby's, put it under the little bucket or in a little box, and then as soon as you get in there, you smell it. You know how to. They used to drag him along. They used to smell that shit. He's going to fall into the box. We're going to trap him. We're going to pull him up on you say you got to get, oh, look, man, I know some people who know some people. You know what I'm saying? And we going to work that out. We're going to get you figured out over there, Fades. Don't worry about it. We're going to make something shake. I'll hit you up here later on. We'll have a conversation. We'll see what we can make happen.
But is Jay Dizzle in the chat?
I don't know if Jay Dizzle in the mix.
Oh man,
But you know, we're gonna definitely be talking shit
playing
about
the
them.
Lakers on Saturday.
Yeah, we're gonna be talking shit about them Lakers real soon. You go. I gotta get that call he dropped yesterday because yeah, I'm gonna post that up on Saturday because that's definitely a good one. But again, man, the Astros ain't over just because we down in the series. Y'all chill out. You know what I'm saying? Oh, there go Jay. Oh, there you go. So you know we'll be talking plenty shit about that real soon. Are you driving? Okay. So you look, don't type and drive. You know we talking our shit. But here's the deal, man. Like I say, man, we appreciate each and every one of y'all, man. Again, because the time that you take, like why I said, man, coming in every night. Some of y'all don't even be necessarily fucking with the topics that we may be discussing, but y'all come through and show love to the sauce, man. I appreciate y'all. And you know what I'm saying? And I thank y'all for that because, you know, time, again, is the one asset that you can never recover. And the fact that y'all spend it with us, man, it's more than just greatly appreciated. It's an honor, you know. And so we thank y'all for that. And like I said, we'll be back at it tomorrow a little bit earlier for the Rockets pregame show. And then probably Thursday we'll get started talking about this Jags matchup. And so, you know, we'll go from there because we got some interesting things with that. And we may have a special guest for the Jags pregame on Sunday. So y'all stay tuned for that. We may bring someone in the enemy territory. So we'll see how that goes. Man, fuck TNT. I hate when the Rockets play on fucking the national game. I only want to watch that shit on AT&T, though, like or the Homer station because the fucking commentators are always trash. Like, and shout out to the people. I just learned that there's people who they watch the Astros games, but they'll mute the TV and then turn the radio on and listen to the yeah. That's what we supposed to. We supposed to bring in Jaggedall supposed to fuck with us. Like, you know, they'll time the radio to the TV. You know what I'm saying? So that they can listen to local commentary, but you know, catch the Astros. So that's what's up, man. You got to put in the work.
I like seeing my boy Calvin Murphy with the clean suits. He got a different suit every game, man.
That boy too fresh, man. Look Harden ain't got nothing on Murph, man. I'm just saying Harden can come with all the gear and all that shit he want to, man. He ain't got nothing on Murph, dog, man. Murph been doing this since way back when. So, you know, it is what it is. But, man, I appreciate y'all. We're going to get up out of here, get some things prepared for the den, man. Wise, I appreciate you following through, Sauce Nation. I appreciate each and every one of y'all, man. Again, we'll be in the den at 10. If you're not subscribed to the den, man, go to the den and subscribe. We talked some good shit, and I want to say shout out to everybody who called in last night. I know it was a semi-controversial topic, but some people called in with some very good points, some very good thoughts, some very good questions, man. So we're going to do it again tonight. And with that being said, man, we're going to chunk up a deuce. Y'all be cool like y'all be cool. Y'all the freshest motherfucking ingredients in the world. Appreciate all of y'all. And we out.